Receipts are required when available for the following incidental travel expenses when specific reimbursement is requested: convention, seminar, and conference registration fees. Additionally, a traveler may be reimbursed for the actual and reasonable fees for attending events which are not included in a basic registration fee, yet directly enhance the public purpose of the city's participation at the conference or convention, including but not limited to banquets and other meal functions. It shall be the traveler's responsibility, however, to substantiate that such charges are proper and necessary. Reasonable tips and gratuities, not to exceed 20% of the underlying expense. Gratuities for meal allowances shall not be separately reimbursed unless approved as noted in travel meals. Actual passport and visa fees required for authorized traveler when the traveler does not already have the required documents. Actual and necessary fees charged to purchase traveler's checks for authorized travel expenses. Actual fees charged for exchange of currency necessary to pay authorized travel expenses. Actual fees for immunization required or recommended for authorized travel. Actual cost of maps necessary for conducting official business. Taxi, train, or shuttle bus fare. Storage or parking fees. Additional incidental expenses for which receipts are required when available include gasoline when using a rental car, tolls, Internet access charges. Internet access charges on flights are only approved when the scheduled flight time is in excess of 3 hours or when approved by the approving authority prior to departure. Communication expense incurred in the conduct of city business. Any travel expense report requesting payment of or claiming reimbursement for communication expense charged to a hotel bill or credit card must state the points and parties contacted and the reason for such communications. Council members shall be reimbursed for reasonable communication expenses related to their individual business while traveling on behalf of the city, if so documented. Authorized travelers will not be reimbursed for personal phone calls except for one safe arrival call within 24 hours of arrival to the destination. Laundry and pressing. When authorized travel extends beyond 5 days, the traveler may be reimbursed for laundry, dry cleaning, and pressing costs when substantiated by receipts. In countries where a language barrier may exist, reimbursement for expenses such as taxi fare, currency exchange fees, or tolls may be made without receipts provided that a statement is attached to the travel report detailing non-receipted expenses. Credit is automatically extended to City Council members and city employees for travel arrangements. Council members and employees, other than those members and employees possessing city-authorized credit cards, who have been authorized to travel may, when necessary, draw an advance of not less than $25 nor more than the amount of estimated expenses for travel, less amounts prepaid by the city, by completing and submitting the travel authorization and expense report no less than 10 working days before said travel. The amount of advance is subject to the approval of the approving authority. If one or more travel reports are outstanding, no additional travel advances will be issued. Be aware, for any advance that is outstanding for more than 30 days and is directly attributable to the traveler's failure to properly file the report in a timely fashion, payroll deduction will automatically be made. While receipts in the prescribed form are required for most payments or reimbursements pursuant to the City of Dunwoody's travel policy, it is recognized that unexpected circumstances may arise, such as language barriers, loss of receipts, or unavailability of receipts, which require an alternative procedure for documentation of reimbursable expenses. In those isolated situations where receipts are not available, a statement must be prepared by the traveler and included in the travel authorization and expense report. Such certification may then be presented instead of the unavailable or lost receipt. For domestic travel, an employee must submit a completed travel authorization and expense report to the Finance Department with required documentation no later than 10 working days after the travel period has ended. For international travel, an employee must submit a completed travel authorization and expense report with required documentation to the Finance Department no later than the earlier of 20 working days after the travel period has ended, or upon receipt of the credit card statement verifying the international currency exchange rates. A copy of the applicable credit card statement or appropriate receipts must be submitted with the travel authorization and expense report. Completed travel authorization and expense reports will be reviewed for compliance with the city travel policy by the Finance Department. Audit procedures will be performed by the Finance Director or designee with assistance from external auditors as required. Any funds advanced in excess of the travel expenses incurred and allowed should be reimbursed to the city's Finance Department, and a cash receipt form obtained no later than 20 working days for domestic travel and 30 working days for international travel after the travel period has ended. A copy of the cash receipt must be attached to the travel authorization and expense report. Travel authorization and expense reports showing an amount due to or on behalf of an authorized traveler will be processed for payment in accordance with standard payment procedures. Payment of undisputed items will be processed for payment within 2 payment cycles. Canceled travel requests shall be documented as such and routed through travel services. The traveler, within 10 working days, shall be responsible for requesting refunds for any registration fees or other payments which were expended prior to the required cancellation. The following shall be included in completed travel authorization and expense reports: trip benefits, which shall be stated on the travel authorization and expense report, indicating significant benefits realized by the traveler as a result of the trip for all travel other than local travel. Program agenda. If not available upon completion of travel, include a statement to that effect on the travel authorization and expense report. Certificates of completion will be accepted in lieu of an agenda. Significant deviation from estimated expenses, i.e., more than the lesser of 20% or $250, shall be explained in the travel authorization and expense report and approved by the approving authority.